Shuffle has shuffled once again. Now, if you were around last week, you would have seen me give out 3 hints for what this movie was going to be. Those hints, of course, were
1. Outer space. 2. Artificial intelligence. And 3. Iconic original score.
And obviously what I was talking about was 2001: A Space Odyssey. A couple of you got it right. Joshua Faulkner, you got it right over on Twitter, and Mr. Sticky, you got it right here. How could you not? I don't think that there's any way to give a hint about 2001: A Space Odyssey without it being immediately obvious. But let's get cracking. 2001: A Space Odyssey is about a lot of stuff, but the easiest way to explain it all is to say it revolves around a mysterious alien monolith that has the world at large scratching their heads a little bit. So throughout the film, we focus on a number of space explorers on individual missions that seem like their own thing, but somewhere in the confines of the meaning of the film is always that monolith that seems to be watching and controlling everything from afar. Before I go on with my review for 2001: A Space Odyssey, make sure that you guys go over to my Twitter handle at IAMDWG, because that's where I first give you guys the 3 hints for the Cinematic Shuffle, which is usually on Wednesday, and then somewhere around Friday, I do it as a YouTube short. So make sure you go over there, follow me, make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube for those shorts, and let's get cracking on that review. So a little bit of a backstory with this movie, which at this point I've seen probably 3 times now. The first time I saw it was shown in my school, and I was one of those students that immediately hated everything that I saw because school made me do it. Had I reviewed it back then, it probably would have gotten 20%. Because I thought it was weird, I thought it was stupid, pointless, long, and boring. I ended up reviewing it close to maybe 10 years ago when I rewatched it for the first time. And even though I didn't love it, I certainly appreciated it a lot more from a filmmaking standpoint. I think that my score for this was now in the 60th percentile, for instance. I have got to say though, it is incredibly rare for my bias and opinion to change so drastically when watching anything. If there's a shift in my score, it's usually kind of minuscule. But my score for 2001: A Space Odyssey has shot straight up into the stratosphere. And now I get it, and now that I'm turning 35 on Thursday, I finally get the love, and what's more, I even agree with it. I couldn't help but realize one word was floating around my head when I watched this movie, and that word was masterpiece. I couldn't shake the feeling that I felt like I was actually watching a masterpiece, and that word I don't use very often. But I felt like that was accurate here, regardless on if I even understood everything or not, which I don't think I did. There's simply nothing quite like it out there. There hadn't been when it first came out, and still to this day it remains original, unique, and extremely captivating. There are 2 things that remain true from my original review. First, the most notable and memorable aspect of the film is indeed the story, focusing on the astronauts Dave and Frank and their increasing distrust with the onboard computer named HAL. I would make the argument that even though the entire film looks and sounds great, this is the powerhouse scene of the film with the best cinematography, best use of practical effects, and best tension. But thanks to the musical score, the tension was always there whenever the monolith was around. Its mysterious origins, both confounding and threatening in a way, helps keep the audience's attention from beginning to end. The second thing that remains true from my original review was that original score, which this may or may not be kind of a hot take, but in terms of a great score all on its own, as well as how much it benefits the structure of the narrative, this score may actually be the best original score I think I've ever heard in film. The one element found in my original review that is no longer true for me was the visuals. My original review was actually hypercritical on the visuals. I stated that had the film been released today, a modern audience would simply laugh at how bad or fake it looked. As other modern science fiction films such as Interstellar or Gravity have proven how realistic we can now make space films look. Now, while that might still be true, and while there are certainly some aged aspects of A Space Odyssey, I now look at it with a new set of eyes. For me, I feel as if that's part of the charm. I can't really see them remaking this film with modern technology and CGI and have it be as good overall. No, I was definitely too harsh on the film as a whole, because even by today's standards, I still think that the film looks immaculate. Perhaps I'm only saying that because I actually saw it for the first time in 4K HDR, which looks fantastic, but I doubt it. Kubrick was ahead of his time. It's as if he saw the future. He saw us landing on the moon in 1969, and he did this movie a year before. This, no doubt, is the reason so many people believe the moon landing was faked and Kubrick was the man responsible. Well, we also utilized video calling in 1968. Did he create that as well in real life? How about Hal? One of the first cinematic examples of artificial intelligence turning on us. Did he see the future with Alexa, Siri, or likewise? Maybe he created those things too. All things considered, I can't believe my own opinion on this film has changed so much. This film is great. The first time I rated it, it probably would have been 20%. The second time I rated it, it was 66. And now in 2023, my new score for 2001: A Space Odyssey is an A+ letter grade final overall score of 97%. 97 out of 100 possible stars. You can see my bias score is now 100%. I couldn't even tell you how that's even remotely possible, but this is more than just an iconic film. It's revolutionary and game-changing. If you haven't checked it out yet, please do. Let me know what you thought about it in the comment section down below. And as for YouTube, you guys know what to do. Hit the like, subscribe button, and bell to be notified when I come out with my next installment for the Cinematic Shuffle. And until then, peace out.